This is Robert Cardenas from Possessed Coffin Text, and you are listening to KFMP Misery Point Radio.
Welcome back, Wanderers! Thanks for joining me again on Misery Point Radio. I appreciate you dragging your socially distanced asses and mask-covered stinkholes through the wasteland to hang out with me here in the dark void of my own personal audio quarantine zone. As y'all know, I'm on a perpetual quest to purge the cosmos of all that doth suck. And while we're many moons away from that happening, the conversation you're about to hear will smite the gods of musical shittiness and help illuminate the path to metal salvation, or damnation depending on your clearly twisted point of view. Today's guest, Robert Cardenas, is no stranger to the eternal battle for control of the airwaves. While some might know him for his work with legendary OG metal overlords Possessed, the reality is he's been on the scene since the early days during the formative years of the San Francisco and LA metal scenes, and prior to joining Possessed, had already made a name for himself as the bassist, vocalist, and founding member of the brutally melodic death metal band Coffin. Bobby was cool enough to open the vault and take me on a trip back in time to revisit the early days of the scene. We discussed his early projects, the formation, concept, and progression of Coffin, his long-standing partnership with Emilio Marquez, and the path that led him to join the mighty Possessed. We also took a deep dive down the rabbit hole and chatted about some of his influences, his love of different kinds of music, other projects he's working on, the status of the new Coffin material, and general thoughts about this last year and what may be in store. Let me tell you, Bobby is cool as fuck. This was a great conversation. He was very open and willing to talk about the past, present, and the future, so I'm excited and honored to share this conversation with you. I really am. So, grab your ankh, hop into that sarcophagus, and prepare for your journey to the nether realm of metal awesomeness. Check this out. Hey, Bobby, welcome to the show. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out today.
No problem. What's going on?
Oh, man, what's going on? That's you can't really answer those questions anymore, can you? It's every day it's a new pile of madness. Crazy
year.
We
all know what's going on.
Yeah, COVID and fucking fires and you name it. Hey, speaking of fires, I was talking to Claudius a couple months back, and he's up there, kind of probably a little bit farther north than you. But were you affected by those fires we had a couple months back?
Yeah, a little bit. The smoke down here in LA, just pollution. But it is what it is, dude. It's burning everywhere. California's always one big fucking fire. So
yeah, and you guys do those rolling blackouts too. So I don't know if that helps with it all or not. But every day it seems like there's something crazy going on over there.
Yeah, it's LA, that's for sure.
Right on. Well, speaking of crazy years, I mean, there's obviously been a lot going on. Lots of stuff's been kind of rescheduled and projects put on hold and new projects kind of come to the forefront. Now, if I recall correctly, you had a canceled tour earlier this year, right? That was just getting ready to kind of get set off.
Yeah, actually, we were about to leave when COVID happened. So I was actually about to leave out the door. So yeah, it was like, I think it hit here Friday the 13th. I was supposed to be on a flight, and yeah, we got the call, not to get on the flight. And it was pretty late. It was around 10 p.m. We were all wondering what was going on. Everybody was, curious, because it was like, yeah, shit was happening all over the place, and they were shutting everything down. And we were staying in contact, wondering if we were going to be able to do it. And yeah, obviously, yeah, it didn't happen. So.
And which tour was this for?
This was for the Pestilence Possessed tour. We were supposed to do, I'm not really sure how many dates they were supposed to be done, but we were supposed to end in Tampa, Florida at the Brass Mug. That was going to be the last show. But yeah, dude, they shut it down. Everything got shut down. We got stuck with a shitload of merch that's just sitting, in a warehouse.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty brutal. The guys from Pestilence, they got shut down like I think that week. That week that shit was going down, they were like, no, we're not going. They were supposed to go to Mexico, and then they were supposed to start the tour here. And yeah, they got shut down, I guess, to go to Mexico. So they were like, you know what? If we can't go to Mexico, then there's no point. This shit's gonna be fucked. So, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they already knew what was going down. So they pulled out. And when they pulled out, we were like, oh shit, they pulled out. What the fuck are we gonna do if it happens? But yeah, it didn't happen, obviously. So here we are,
Yeah.
in November now.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but I guess the flip side to all that is that bands, while they can't play and maybe they're getting fucked in the ass by getting stuck with extra merch and stuff like that. I think like a lot of online sales have picked up, and of course people are using this time to write new material or do lots more kind of fan engagement. So, and which if I am correct, of course there's some new Coffin text in the works, correct?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's a slow process, because like we're all kind of spread out, but we're still working on it. We got the 4 songs ready to go. We just need to, get the rehearsal time. Really, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because our guitar player, he works for the railroad, so he's like always working, and this guy like fucking all over the place. So it's really hard to get this guy to just, you know, get like 3 days out of him to just sit down, because he can't even take 3 days off if he's so busy doing shit with at work. So we really, the time he does have with us, we try to utilize it as much as possible to just try to focus on getting the 4 songs ready for the EP.
Yeah. And so that's the plan then, as you guys are working on an EP. How many songs are you planning on doing?
That's just the 4 songs. We were planning on doing 5, but we just decided, the 5th song was kind of like a bonus, like it was a cover song. But yeah, we decided not to do it. So we're just gonna go with the 4 songs, and that's it.
Oh, right on. I'm sure there'll be 4 super fucking badass songs, I have no doubt. So I was hoping to talk history with you for a little bit. I think that one of the things that not a lot of people realize is that you guys are actually pretty OG. Coffin Tex has been a band for somewhere in the vicinity of 25 or so years. Is that right?
Yeah. We started right after Entity died, which was like 94. That Entity was like an old band that I used to play in, like from 90 to 90. It was 1990 to like 94 that band existed. So like the guitar player, that's where Rich came from. So me and him, when that band disbanded, I looked at him like, hey, do you want to keep jamming? And he was like, yeah. Infamy ended up being the drummer and the guitar player from Entity, which was the old band. They ended up forming into Infamy, which was another death metal band from LA back in the 90s. But me and Rich ended up moving on to do Coffin Tex. So
yeah. And when did Emilio come into the picture?
Emilio, sheesh, let me see. Well, I started playing with Emilio and Engrave. That's another. It was like a thrash. It was like a more of a thrashy band. It was like more like a thrash metal band.
Okay.
But they started with the bass player from Infamy. Like he was.
Right.
We were like, it was like a big circle, dude. Like everybody was just forming other bands with different members all the time. So Jagger, which was Brainstorm, which was the band that Emilio came from, that was Emilio's first band. Like if anybody ever wonders where Emilio got his chops from, it was from Brainstorm, straight up. I mean, Sadistic Intent was, when they got him, he was already a beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Emilio, when I saw Emilio play when we were fucking kids, this was like 89, dude. His brother, Emilio's brother, Eddie, used to play with Jagger in Warfare and all these other thrash bands, and that's where Emilio was always like, he liked Alex Van Halen shit. His brother, Emilio's brother Eddie, liked Priest. He was the Priest guy. So he kind of like got Emilio into his chops, when they were kids. Emilio, that's where he got his influence from, was from his older brother, really. His older brother was a drummer. So yeah, that's how he got his chops, dude, was from Brainstorm, which was Jagger. And then when Brainstorm broke up, that infamy, everything happened at the same time. Brainstorm broke up and Entity broke up at the same time. So when we broke up, everybody kind of like jumped into like other bands with the other members. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Emilio ended up going to Sadistic Intent, and then Jagger went to like Infamy, and then that shit started. And after a while, like I guess Adrian wanted to start doing the Brainstorm stuff again, but we couldn't call it Brainstorm because I was playing bass. Jagger wasn't. So they said, well, let's call it Engraved. So Mario, the guitar player, yeah, he's the one that thought up the name. So we just stuck with Engraved, and Emilio was the drummer for Brainstorm. It's just basically I just took Jagger's place.
Sure.
So that's how I ended up playing with Emilio and Engraved. And then we played, I don't know, I think we like disbanded around like 2002 or some shit like that, 2003. And at that time, Coffin Tex was, we were struggling to stay alive, dude. Like it was like rough. Once, our drummer at the time, Marcelino, we had Marcelino for like, I don't know, from 95 to like after we did the Incantation tour, I don't know, maybe a couple of years after that. So that was around maybe 2002, I think. Mars left the band, and we ended up getting Ariel Alvarado to do drums, and yeah, he did a great job. We did we did a demo with him, and we just tried to keep the name going for a while. Emilio joined after Ariel left, so we were still trying to knock out the Tomb of Infinite Ritual because it was like we kept losing members. It was really hard to keep shit going. So everybody was busy doing shit. Yeah. So.
Well, and also keeping in mind that back at that time, that was really more or less during the formative years of the genre. It's death metal hadn't really caught on, if you will, to the degree that it is now. And obviously, because I played in bands around that time, and I remember even just getting a show would be like, okay, crazy, weird, extreme metal guy, we're going to put you on country music night because nobody else wants to fucking play with you. So,
what city is that? You're in San Jose, right?
I'm in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that going on up there. Yeah, Seattle's a trip. I played up there a couple of times.
But California, the Bay Area and LA and stuff, you guys had a pretty robust scene kind of from the get-go, but I assume it was still tough. And the rotating band member thing, I mean, that is what it is. I don't think there's a band out there that hasn't had that issue.
Well, the thing was too is that it was kind of like, the level of musicianship that we were at, like, because all of us were like kind of like really hungry for it, so we would never like accept anybody that was weak. You know what I mean? Like in their playing, because some of the songs are. I mean, some of the shit we play is pretty fucking challenging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't fucking dick around when it comes down to this shit. So, but that was the thing. We always try to keep that level of fucking, of playing very high. So it was kind of hard to keep people like wanting to stay in the band. You know what I mean? Because the shit's so fucking hard to play.
Yeah.
And then Emilio, like when we did we did a demo, Tomb of Infinite Ritual, which was the 3-song demo with Ariel, and it came out really fucking good, dude. It was a pretty good demo, and it was really hard to find somebody to take this guy's place because he was such a good fucking drummer, and Emilio's heard that shit and he's like, oh fuck, I could do that. Okay, well, show me who the man is. You know what I mean? Like, So yeah, he took care of it, dude. He did the album and it came out fucking tits, and we were happy with it. Don't you know? The only thing we were not happy was look, when it comes down to production, and you're an artist, that shit matters a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like especially when you put a lot of fucking years in your stuff. You know. So the thing was is like Blood Harvest had put out the album, you know, and we were appreciative and we had much gratitude for the label even fucking wanting to help us, dude. But when it came down to the mastering, it was a total fumble. The shit came out really fucking like mumbly, like it just sounded horrible. My own opinion, I just did not like it. You know, a lot of people don't hear it; they just accept it the way it is, and it is what it is. But me, I was just that was one of the things that kind of fucking pissed me off
Yeah.
about that whole album. You know, was the mastering that Blood Harvest did. You know, but you know, what can you do? You just got to move on after you put, you know, I think it was like, I think we put like something like, I don't know, 10 years into that album of,
Yeah.
you know, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It took us 10 years. Yeah, it took us 10 years to get that album together, basically.
And then it wasn't quite what you wanted. It's really
Oh, no, dude. Yeah, well, the guy fumbled on it. He gave it to some German dude out there to master the album, and it just came out sounding fucking horrible. And it was just like, dude, I can't keep, doing this. This guy was like, oh, no, it was the second time he had did it. Oh, we can't just keep going back and forth. So they ended up pressing it the way it was, and I wasn't happy,
yeah.
but what can you do?
It's really funny too now because people will be like a lot of the purists, if you will, a lot of the really old school guys. They just shit on the really well produced albums, and they'd rather go back and listen to the old raw kind of sound. And there's a huge movement for that of people that really appreciate that kind of sound.
Yeah, yeah, totally, dude. I totally agree. You know, I
Then
mean,
you ended up
you
though
gotta be.
that album got remastered, right? And by Bill Matoyer.
Yeah, actually, we had it remastered by him, and that recording you know, I like. You know what I mean? That's the shit that I would have liked fucking Blood Harvest to put out, but that's not what happened. So we just let it go, and we're working on this EP, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
But but overall though, I'm happy with the way the album came out. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, I think the Coffin Tech sound I'm a huge fan of. I don't usually like to try to compare bands together, but it's kind of like I really like the fact that sometimes it's got like a Morbid Angel vibe to it, and then other times it's got like an old school Immolation vibe to it. It's really fast, it's really intense. The vocals are awesome. I also love the fact that just the concept of the band with the whole Egyptian thing, I think is fucking cool because it's different. I love the mythology aspect. In fact, Coffin Text itself name comes from that whole the incantations and spells that were found inside coffins in sarcophagus stuff. I just thought that was super badass.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the name. Yeah, exactly. The name itself. I kind of ponder the name a lot, so that's the reason why some of the lyrics are a lot. They're not just based on Egyptian mythology or anything, or like Egyptian, belief or anything. But yeah, it's just something that we got to just, I focus on the name itself,
Mm-hmm.
and just try to just write things that are kind of similar in the beliefs, and kind of like the belief system. You know what I mean? That the coffin text belief system.
Yeah.
Like people believe in spells and shit that's gonna take them out of turmoil. When this world's over. So that's why that's one of the reasons why I kind of like write the stuff that I write.
So it's
Based
not
on that.
necessarily just based on the mythology aspect, but it's really more tied deeply to, if you will, the text and the idea of what the text we're trying to relay, which I guess then is a perfect name for, gods of creation, death, and afterlife. It's a perfect fitting tie-in to the name of the band and the concept of what those texts actually were.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff's in the same realm. I just basically just I focus on a lot of, I ponder the thought of what's next. You know what I mean? Like I think everybody wonders that, like what's next after all this shit's done,
Sure.
after we leave here, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much what I write about a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll write my stuff about, Egyptian, uh, based on Egyptian belief, like what their belief systems were, like on the God system. But yeah, that my lyrics are, it's I guess trivial, you could say.
Well, we're going to check out one of these songs right now. So here it is off the Tomb of Infinite Ritual. This one's called The Sacred Eye. I don't know if I'd say trivial. I mean, clearly it's I think Coffin Text has had an impact on the industry in the sense that it's kind of one of those bands that's the kind of the shining star of the underground, that people find it and they go, holy fuck, this is amazing. Because I hadn't heard about the band until, relatively recently, and a friend of mine turned me on and I was like, holy fuck, these guys have been around forever. Oh shit, this is fucking Bobby in this band. I had no idea. And I started listening to it and I was like, God damn, how could I have missed this back in the day? So I love the fact that there's still kind of people that are going back and finding the old stuff. In fact, I assume, I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe the popularity of, Revelations and how well that album did for Possessed, did that get you kind of a resurgence in listeners for Coffin Text?
Yeah, totally. I mean, Possessed, me and Emilio, like, we just jumped in there. It was like an opportunity for us to help out Jeff and for us to do something great. So I was grateful, much gratitude for Emilio even giving me the audition. So yeah, it worked out, and with the album came out and shit sounds great. We're happy about it. And yeah, we're hoping that we can get some other stuff out soon.
Yeah,
So,
not in 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we are everybody's kind of writing in their own sense right now. So we're hoping that once this shit calms down, we can get back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's got some riffs. Jeff has some ideas, and all we can hope is that we could get together and put it together.
Yeah, no. Well, I assume that, with the time that you guys have, there's, obviously Coffin Text, you got new material for that. Possessed, there's stuff coming down the road for that as well. Your lineup seems pretty solid at this point, I think, though. You guys feel pretty good that this is the lineup going forward.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely the lineup. I mean, Claudius, once we got Claudius involved, it was just like, wow, that was it. That was the piece we needed to complete the whole circle, really. So we're definitely happy having Claudius aboard. We were touring, with other people and everything was cool. But once we got that guy involved, it was bam.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a beast, and Possessed has always been one of those bands that is fast, it's intense, it kind of borders on that thrash element, but really kind of leans more towards the death metal side. Claudius has always kind of been really into the really kind of melodic power metal, but also the heavy stuff. I mean, I love Dragon Lord. I loved his other band, Serpent, that he did with his wife Cass. That was super fucking cool. So yeah, I thought that was an awesome fit for sure. Um, and you guys, like, you joined, were you 2012 or so is kind of when you hooked up with them?
Yeah, it was like 2012.
Yeah.
2012 is when I did my first show with Possessed.
And you got that
Yeah.
because you got an audition through Emilio. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, it was like 2 years prior. They had like an audition for the band because they were still trying to figure out after the guys from Sadistic left on what was going to happen.
Right,
So
and he's the last carryover from that particular era.
yeah. So when those guys left, I think it was like 2010. They left. They had the audition, and Tony was playing with them for a little bit, and then he ended up leaving. So they asked me if I was willing to take the spot, and yeah, I took the spot, and it worked out.
Yeah, I would say it more than worked out. I mean, you guys kind of hit the road on fire. You ended up putting out an album that hit the charts like probably nobody even imagined. You did some awesome fucking tours. You got some videos with Peter Stormare, which is fucking cool. And then, of course, just all kinds of just awesome things. So I think that album really hit people really hard. That this is, wow, these guys, not only are they back, but they're back with a vengeance. And yeah, it was just, I got a chance to see you guys in Oakland, which was cool, at the Metro. And it was a really funny story. I don't know if you've heard it, if any of the guys have told you about it, like Scott or anything, but I was standing on the side of the stage, and Scott Pavarnik gives me a message, and he goes, "Hey, can you come and help out Emilio?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I get back there, and the big tapestry that was behind his drum kit, it was hanging down, and it was hitting his cymbals, and it was muting his cymbals as he was playing. So I was like, "Oh shit, that kind of sucks." And Scott goes, "Hey, so can you hold this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, for how long?" He's like, "The whole set." So,
oh shit, really?
Yeah. So I held
hilarious.
it, which was, I mean, it was cool. I saw probably all but like 3 or 4 songs from back there, which was awesome. And at the same time, there was a point in the show where I don't know what happened, but you were like scrambling around looking for like a bottle of water or something, and you were screaming, "I need some fucking water! I need some fucking water!" So,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, it was really hilarious. So then I go and I'm like, "Here, let's go find
That's a
some
good
water."
one.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'll play Water Boy and I'll play Carpet Boy, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious.
super great show. And then you chugged out like 12 waters in about 30 seconds, like between songs. It was amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, he's
Yeah,
gonna piss
that's
himself.
probably what it was. I was probably dying from fucking, from dehydration or some shit.
Oh, dude, it was funny. It was so funny. Yeah, that show though, that was such an epic show, and I always go back to it because it's pretty memorable. Just the whole evening was super awesome. So, but yeah, it was funny. Some cool stories kind of came out of that. So yeah, and well, speaking of Scott, you're also getting that SP built, right?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah, definitely.
tell us
Yeah,
about that. How'd
bass,
that
man.
come to be? How'd that conversation start? I mean, I assume it had to do with, him building for Jeff and him building for Claudius.
Yeah, well, when he built for Claudius, I was like, oh shit, that's fucking sick. And he saw my bass, and he was like, oh fuck, that's pretty fucking badass. I was like, fuck, can you build one? And because my other bass, I have two customs made by Ron Estrada, Mammoth guitars,
Mm-hmm.
and he made my rack V's, the two rack V's that I have, and I was like, well, if you can make a rack V for me, yeah, with your headstock on it. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'll make one. So that's where we're at. He's making my custom V with his headstock on it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty fucking stoked, dude. If you've seen pictures of that thing, it's amazing.
I have
I
seen
mean, I'm
pictures of it.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be getting it in December. He's supposed to be flying over here. Uh, yeah, because he's supposed to come over here in December and talk with Derek Myers from Dark Angel for a
Yep.
guitar. And yeah, and I was talking to my buddy from Body Count, Mr. Juan Garcia,
Oh
about
shit.
it. And he was like, "Oh, really? He's gonna be around?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I used to play with Juan in Agent Seal and stuff and
Yeah.
Masters of Metal. So yeah, I was talking to him about some shit, and he was like, "Oh, what's up with that V that you're getting? When are you getting that?" Like he was all curious about it, and I told him, Scott's gonna be showing up, and when he shows up, I'll introduce you to him. So yeah, he's psyched up about seeing that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. And Eric's getting a V made too. So that's pretty awesome. It's really funny, Ron Reinhardt lives like one town over from me, one or two towns over from me.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, really?
yeah. Eric was on the show a couple months back, so he was a blast to talk to. But yeah, Scott's he's building some fucking beastly stuff. And you here's the cool thing. So your bass playing style is a little different. Obviously, you use a caler or at least a tremolo on your bass. I assume it's a caler. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but
Yeah, it's a Kaler, dude. I use Kalers. Yeah.
yeah. And so now, while tremolo on a bass is not unheard of, the way that you play, you are an intense motherfucker. I mean, you you pound on this thing. Your style is so it's precise, but it's heavy and it's fast and it's intense. So when did you decide? At what point you're like, fuck it, I want to add some tremolo to my action?
Well, actually, when I was a kid, I was, growing up, in the fucking early '80s. I got turned on. Mr. the King, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
So once I saw that shit or heard that, Randy Rhoads and all that, Iron Maiden came after. But I had always had the interest of guitar stuff. So, but yeah, that's basically why I decided to just, you know, I wanted to go down that road. A long time ago they had ads for like Halers and stuff on like guitar magazines, and I always thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to put one on there. But I never had the opportunity until I had got older. And when I got my custom mades, yeah, that's when I got the Halers on there. So I
yeah,
was pretty happy with that. And the thing was, is when I got my first rack made by Ron, because I play with distortion, in
yeah.
Coffin text. That's what the first V I had made was for Coffin text. It had unks on it, and yeah, so I had distortion, get a guitar pickup put into it. So I pretty much went down that road. I had a guitar pickup put into it, the Taylor, and yeah, I was, that's what I was using for a while. And yeah, I got used to using the Taylor. So from then on, I just said, yeah, I just want to put a Taylor on it. Pretty much anything I had. But recently, I've been using a Fender for other stuff. I like the Fenders, but yeah, Taylors are very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome to see, people breaking out of the mold, I think, of what you would expect from musicians in certain genres. And I like to see that. And you don't like overuse it or anything. It's not gimmicky. It's just something that you do that's adds that little bit of extra, I don't know, fucking secret sauce or something to your sound. Are you do you use dark glass preamps as well?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I just got endorsed by Dark Glass like last year.
Ugh.
So I've been using Dark Glass for a while from last year on. But yeah, it's a great product, dude. I got it's called I forgot. I think it's called a Tone Capsule,
Mm-hmm.
and I got that installed on the V that Scott's bringing me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find out what that thing sounds like. I'm not really sure what it sounds like, but we're gonna find out. You know what I mean?
Now, are you gonna
And I'm sure.
get
Yeah,
some pedals to go with it? You know, kind of some extra boosts and things like that to kind of complement it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like I like the low end. I'm more of a solid low end guy. I don't like to use a lot of pedals.
Yeah.
Unless tuner is probably the most for me, but I just kind of just depend on the pickups and the head.
Yeah.
Like
And
I'm not
you're a
really of
GK guy,
a pedal
right?
guy.
That's kind of what you go through.
Yeah, I was using GK for a little bit. Yeah, I like. Yeah, GK it's cool. The dark glass with the GK cabinets though. Yeah, that sounds way sicker, dude.
Yeah, that sounds
You know.
awesome. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see, what happens next time around. When you get to either play some more live shows or get some new recordings once you got your new equipment. I got a friend of mine who's all about the dark glass, and he's got it installed, but then he also has this series of various pedals and things like that he uses with it, and his tone goes from this really dark jazzy vibe to it, and then when he kicks in the gain on it, it just blows your mind. And yeah, that's fucking killer. If you're endorsed by them, get the hookup. Hey, send me some shit, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking A, bro. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, you mentioned Agent Steel a second ago, and I kind of wanted to touch on that because they're one of those bands that has been around a very long time, and they also are kind of known as, I guess, a rotating door of epic musicians. James Murphy, for instance, just to throw out a name out there, was somebody who was also involved. But so, how did you get involved with that setup, and then why did you leave?
Well, what happened was, I think it was like Alien Enigma tour. They were supposed to tour that album, Alien Enigma. I think that was like 2007. And Juan Garcia asked me if I wanted to do the tour. Carlos Medina, I guess, couldn't do it. So I ended up doing that tour. And then you know, I joined the band from there.
The
Uh,
tour just went
Bruce
so
Hall
well,
was,
you're like, fuck it, I may as well stay.
yeah, why not? I mean, they had other things going on. So, and I liked the music a lot. I thought the members were really cool. So I stood in the band, and you know they continued on for like, I don't know, maybe 3 years. 2000, let me see, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then Bruce left in 2011. So it was like 5 years I was in the band, and then he left. And when he left, the band changed the name to Masters of Metal. Yeah, it wasn't Agent Steel anymore.
Oh, I didn't
We
realize that was the same band.
Yeah, Masters of Metal is the same band
Okay.
as Agent Steel. It's just Bernie, the guitar player, was singing on that. He sings on the Masters of Metal stuff. Yeah,
Got it. So a
so
different
yeah.
sound. They kind of felt like they wanted to change the name a little bit just to let people know that it was a little bit different.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing was is that we didn't want to continue on with the name. The thing was is John Cyrus we had did some shows with John Cyrus. He had came back to Agent Steel,
Yeah.
and we were gonna try to work it out with him, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. We had a bunch of songs ready to go, and John didn't. It didn't work out with John and Juan and Bernie. That's basically what it was.
Some personality
So
differences there.
yeah, so it was just that, and so when he left, it was like, well, we don't want to use the name again. So that's why they ended up using Masters of Metal, because it was like, it was Agent Steel. It's just not with John Cyrus,
Gotcha.
and a lot of people know why. They got, they got their reasons. I know John's doing his own thing, and I wish him the best on that. I really do. But Masters of Metal, we did what we were doing, and then Bernie, he suffered an aneurysm. So, he's still recovering from that at this moment. So that's the reason why Masters of Metal doesn't really exist at this moment.
Ah, okay.
We don't
So it
really
wasn't
play
really like
anymore.
you left. It just kind of things just kind of went on hold.
Yeah, well, he had an aneurysm. He almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really fucked him up pretty bad.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, right now he's still trying to recover from that. And we hope one day he can come back. We didn't disband the band. We just left it alone.
Okay.
So Juan ended up moving on to doing Evil Dead and Body Count.
And Body Count, yeah.
So,
And Body Count's back doing some new stuff too, so that's kind of cool.
yeah, their new stuff sounds really killer.
Yeah, that cover of Institutionalized fucking cracks me up. Every time I see that, I love Suicidal back in the day. And
Yeah,
that particular song is so iconic, but bitching about like his girl won't let him play his Xbox. I'm just laughing my fucking nuts off. That was so funny. Yeah.
yeah, that's a hilarious video. I saw that the other day, actually. Pretty fucking funny.
Right on. Well, your musical tastes vary quite a bit from what I've learned about you, in that you kind of take inspiration and get kind of, I guess, inspiration from all sources of material. And I was surprised to see, looking, for instance, at your Facebook profile, how much you have on there dedicated to Eddie Van Halen, which obviously, losing him was a huge kind of resounding loss, for the world, but musicians in general, no matter what instrument you play, were hit really hard by that. So how did he affect you?
Damn.
Damn,
I don't know, dude. I mean,
yeah.
I grew up listening to this guy, so it's really that's basically what it is. When you're listening to somebody for so fucking long, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're over here, I was like, I think 14 years old, and I'm sitting in my mom's car trying to figure out what the fuck, what he's doing through Eruption and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, when you're watching this guy, the US Festival. I went to the US Festival. I was like 16 when I watched him. And, so it's like I grew up with the guy. He kind of like helped me through my delinquency. You know what I mean? Because I was going through a lot of shit growing up. I think a lot of kids, go through a lot of shit when they're growing up. But,
I went through that myself.
a lot of their music kind of like helped me through a lot of that shit. So, that's the reason why I feel for the guy. You know what I mean? Like he's still, the music means a lot to me. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a musician out there at some capacity that hasn't been affected directly or indirectly by him and kind of what he brought to the industry. And Alex Van Halen, of course, being the beastly drummer that he is as well, has inspired countless people, in metal and outside of metal. Still, I always have my friends that want to play like Hot for Teacher, for instance, and they're like, man, that fucking drum beat, the timing is so weird on it. I just can never get it down. And I've known a million people that can play the guitar on that song, and then it's always the drummer's like, fuck, that intro is so hard.
Well, yeah, I think he uses a three, like that pedal that has like three fucking bass. It has three bass pedals on it.
I have no idea what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, I forgot what it has on there, like three of them on there or some shit like there. Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude. Yeah, those guys always thought up a weird shit, so it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I was also noticing that you seem to be a fan of kind of the old power metal, like the Dio, Ozzy, Queensryche. Of course, I'm a huge fan of. I've seen those guys live probably more than any other band out there. Being from Seattle, obviously they're kind of hometown heroes. But I've seen them live with Fate's Warning a couple of times, and that's just an amazing pairing of those two bands. Have you had a chance to see them live?
Yeah, actually, I saw them Rage for Order when I was very young.
Damn.
So, yeah, I'm fucking dude. That shit was killer. I saw him with AC/DC, I think it was, at Irvine Meadows, and they were always a big influence growing up. When I playing, metal when I was growing up. We used to play. I played in a band called like Truth or some shit. I think we were called Truth, and we played like the Troubadour and like fucking the Whiskey and all this shit.
Yeah.
And, our singer was all influenced by like Queensryche, and, we were deeply like power metal driven band. But yeah, once the thrash started coming out, it kind of like, fuck all that.
Yeah.
Then we started getting into the thrash shit,
Sure.
but that was the thing, when I was changing over to the thrash stuff, Cliff Burton, like, whoa, like I went to, my guitar player at the time when we were growing up, the one that was I played in Truth and all that stuff, he was getting lessons from like Phil Sandoval from Armored Saint.
Damn.
So yeah, we lived in El Sereno, which is the same city that they live in, the Gonzo and Phil live in, and he was getting lessons from him, and yeah, that's how I started going to gigs. The first gig I saw with them was Rat and Armored Saint at the Troubadour, and yeah, I was like, I forgot how old I was. I was in junior high school,
Yeah.
but I saw that, and then I went to go see. We were in high school, and it was like somebody bought tickets to go see Armored Saint at the Country Club, and we were like, oh fuck, let's go check it out. I want, I'm down to go. Oh, this chick that we knew from San Francisco, we hardly knew this chick, but she was like, oh, this fucking band, my buddy's band's playing, opening up for them, and it was Metallica. And we were like, you know these guys? Oh yeah, I know them. Like, oh, okay. So she said she was gonna go, and we're like, okay, whatever. We ended up fucking going, dude. And yeah, I saw Cliff Burton like 2 feet away from me.
That's insane.
At the Country Club with Armored Saint. And yeah, that pretty much, it fucked me up because I was a Steve Harris fan.
Yeah.
And Steve Harris was just, that was like, you couldn't get any better. But whoa, lo and behold, this guy, fucking Ted Nugent with the Rickenbacker,
playing solos like, on his bass.
Yeah, dude, with the distortion pedal, and it just fucked me up. That shit fucked me up, dude. And after that, I was just like, yeah, that it fucked me up that bad that I was like, I didn't know what to do then. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of crumbled my world.
Was that a turning point for you as far as deciding to pursue bass?
Yeah, well, I mean, the bass was always, when I was young, that's what my mom bought me. My mom bought me a bass. My brother was like, oh, you should play bass.
Yeah.
And because he knew my buddies were already playing guitar. He's oh, you should play bass. And then he knew like a friend of his that taught bass, Jose Pedrosa. So that was my teacher, because this guy was a badass. He played Rush and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So I got lessons from him, and he's teaching me Rothschild and all this shit. So I learned all that, he was teaching me all the basics, and that's pretty much where, the foundation was at, But seeing Cliff Burton, that was like, whoa, that was like, this guy was not he was thinking outside of the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I had to start. Well, what am I going to do that's going to be outside of the box? But that didn't hit till the 90s for me, really, when like Coffin Text and all that shit, like, that, and even that was like, we were just starting, and that was just, dreams, pipe dreams, like when you're a kid.
Sure.
But yeah, we had fun doing what we did, and now we're here, 2020, dude, right?
We're old, brother. That's the
yeah, too old.
Oh, it's crazy, when I think about it, going back and listening to the bands I still listen to, that I listened to when I was a kid, and then now I'm in a position which I'm super blessed by, that I get to talk to all you guys and kind of relive that stuff through your eyes, and I realize, man, it's not uncommon. These guys, 50s and 60s, it's just like, I'm creeping up on 50 myself. And it just kind of blows your mind when you think about how fast the time has come. And but I do look back and I go, a lot of these bands that I loved when I was a kid are now making new material for the first time. I mean, 2018 and 2019, you started to see a resurgence of bands that didn't release material for so long. I mean, that Possessed and Exhorder and just, all kinds of bands were releasing stuff that hadn't been releasing on a regular schedule. So it kind of made me all nostalgic.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, I'm actually writing some stuff right now it's more like in the, Queensryche type of vibe. You know what I mean? Like, It's not even death metal. I write so much different types of stuff. I write death metal, I write power metal type stuff, but yeah, you got to keep it alive in your mind.
Sure.
Like everything's just, music is just the thing that keeps your brain, kind of like away from the stress level. Kind of keeps the stress level down.
Sure.
So that's why music for me is like that. That helps my brain relax.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So.
Well, I know that, especially like with Coffin Text, for instance, you were known to kind of throw out some cool cover songs. I think Slayer was a kind of one that came to mind. Let's say that you were going to do an album that was going to be entirely covers. What songs would be on the album, and who would you ask to play with you?
What would be on the album, and who would I ask to play with me?
That's a tough one.
Well, it's funny you say that because I do a cover band. I have a cover band.
Shut up, really?
But, yeah, it's called Deep Cuts. Yeah, and we do a bunch of like Van Halen. We do a bunch of shit, dude. Van Halen. We do Iron Maiden. We do we do some Dio, some Black Sabbath. Yeah, we do a bunch of shit, dude. But yeah, I'd probably want to do something like that, some Priest, fucking Maiden, what I normally fucking play all the time. I mean, I've been playing covers since I was very young, dude. So, we do all that shit.
Yeah.
We do all the old Maiden, all the classic rock shit, all the Van Halen stuff. I used to play a lot of Van Halen with Emilio, but yeah, if anything, it'd probably be something like that, more rock and to have on the album, sheesh. Fuck, bro. I don't know. That's a hard one.
You know a lot of people, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's just too many musicians, dude. I mean, if I knew them personally, probably just like I don't know, Emilio, because I like the style, I mean.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's so many good drummers out there, guitar players, Steve Vai.
Yeah.
But
he could bring that badass, that heart guitar from like the David Lee Roth tour, like that triple neck thing.
God. Yeah, you know which one I liked was the Flame.
Yeah.
That Flame guitar he had. That shit was fucking cool. I always dug that shit. But yeah, dude, basically, yeah, just old classic rock. I'm more of a classic rock guy. I love that shit. That the reason why I liked it a lot, like death metal is cool, and I love death metal. I'll fucking still continue to keep doing death metal, which is great, and I'll fucking, But what's cool about the classic rock is it sometimes it lets music breathe. You know what I mean? The shit's so fast, and I hear blast beats all fucking day. Sometimes it's cool to hear music breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, the blast beats in your head. Yeah, that'll fuck with you after a while. And sitting next to a drummer with those kick drums pounding will also fuck with your head for a while.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I kind of sometimes, we'll play the cover stuff, kind of like, kind of get away from that for a little bit, so it's kind of more mellower of a mellow trip,
sure.
But yeah, it's playing blast beats, dude. You can do that shit all day. I saw this drummer, actually, one of the guys that was playing with us on the Deep Cuts, his name's Chris. He's a kid, and this fucking kid walks in there and starts fucking blasting out Sepultura tunes, and, this guy's like, yeah, playing Morbid Angel and all this shit. This guy's like in his 20s, and it's like, wow, all these drummers, like, everybody's just, that's what it is, dude. Everybody's just fast now, most of the, millennials or, people that are doing music these days that I see, most of them are like, it's like fast paced music.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. You just need to kind of, you need to take a step back from all that and also just recognize that some of these people that are coming up, they're learning younger and younger and younger, and they're developing that skill set so young.
Yeah, definitely. I just think sometimes, people got to, I mean, there's all kinds of styles of music these days, it's just, I appreciated me growing up in the, with the stuff I had, so I just hope that there's, artists out there that, pump out some good shit for the years to come.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt that if anything, this year is a creative boost to the world. So I'm sure in 2021, things kind of maybe open up a little bit. You start to see the result of some of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are you doing then when you're not playing, doing the Coffin text or Possessed, you're just kicking back, chilling, what's on your agenda for the day? You do like artwork, or you just do random like shit around the house? What's going on with you?
I smoke weed. I smoke a lot of weed, dude. And yeah, I paint once in a while. I do some painting. And just practice covers.
Yeah.
I play but yeah, that's basically it. I help on my buddy grow, kind of cultivation type stuff. But yeah, that's basically it, dude. I just a lot of CBDs, a lot of THC, and a lot of music.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at. I mean, there's legal pot shops on every corner in my neck of the woods, and I've got a couple of friends that work for massive grows, and it's a pretty crazy operations to kind of see that stuff, without having to hide under a fucking rock somewhere, without having to run the other way. But it's pretty crazy. It's strange to see that become a business. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just a thing that you went out in the fucking alley and fucking ran from the cops. Now it's it's big fucking business. In Seattle, they make a lot of money on that tax money here in Seattle. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I mean, here in LA, it's everywhere, dude. I mean, the Jungle Boys, and dealing with all kinds of different growers everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool, and I love it because varieties. That's what people need, right? Variety.
Yeah. All the choices in the world.
Oh yeah.
All the choices. So, well, we've gotten quite a bit of cool stuff out there. Obviously, we know that Coffin Text has got some new stuff in the works, but it sounds like that's probably still a while before we're going to hear that.
Yeah, it'll probably be next year, dude.
Okay.
Like right now, like I said, we're still trying to like tighten everything up. But I'm almost positive next year we're going to be recording this.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I think that I saw something. Are you guys set for Killtown Death Fest for 2021?
Yeah, well, we're hoping, dude. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If they got this vaccine and all this shit. Because like even over there, I keep hearing that they're like shutting stuff down in Europe.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just got to keep it positive in hopes that everything works out, and we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, just dropping this out there at you, Claudius has that venue in his house. So, if nothing else, it can be the Claudius basement tour, and you guys could do some live streams and put together a festival over there. I just volunteered you, Claudius. Sorry about that. I'm sure he won't care.
Yeah, he supports Coffin Text, and we love Claudius for that.
Yeah. So, well, is there anything else that you want to reveal to the world or give any final thoughts on before I let you get back to your day?
Yeah, just, thanks a lot, Mike, for the interview, and, everybody stay safe out there, and tune in, for Possessed, Coffin Text, and that's pretty much, and a shout out to Mr. Bernie Versailles. Hope you get better, brother. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Hey, dude, this has been awesome. Bobby Cardenas, thank you so much for hanging out at Misery Point Radio. Looking forward to hearing new stuff down the road, and we'll keep in touch, and I'll check out all your new stuff as it hits the world. So thanks again for hanging out today, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Well, there you have it. Piles of metal awesomeness. Thanks again for hanging out with me in the wasteland here on Misery Point Radio. Always appreciate your support. Please do me the solid. Follow the show on all those crazy social media platforms. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe, and do the same on your favorite streaming platform, which now includes Pandora and Amazon Music. How cool is that? So now I think we're going to close this out with one more song, and I'm in the mood for a little Possessed, because why the fuck not? So here it is, off their latest album, Revelations, of Oblivion. Here's Possessed with Abandoned.
The darkest evil this way comes, slaves to heaven, beating on the demon's drum. Satan's legions rising up from the pits of hell. Soulless seasons, revelation souls of hell. We are abandoned, banished evil priests, summoned and branded, spreading our disease. Deserted and forsaken, left behind in the world alone.